Quick like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. My name is Ethan. I'm 36 years old, and I work as a quality control manager for a manufacturing plant in Greenville, South Carolina. My job is to notice patterns, to spot deviations from the norm, to identify when something that should be consistent suddenly isn't. A machine that's been running smoothly for months and suddenly starts producing defects. That's when I pay attention. I never thought I'd need to apply that same analytical mindset to my marriage. But when your wife of 10 years suddenly changes a routine she's had since the day you met her, you notice. And when you start noticing one change, you start seeing all the others. I met Lauren 11 years ago at a friend's lake house party outside Greenville. She was an elementary school teacher, 3rd grade, with the kind of warmth that made everyone around her feel comfortable. I was already working at the plant, had just been promoted to supervisor. We talked for hours that night about everything and nothing. She had this habit that I found endearing from the very beginning. Every evening, without fail, she'd come home from teaching, change into comfortable clothes, make dinner with me, and then around 9 or 9:30, she'd take her shower before bed. It was her wind-down routine, her transition from the day into rest. I like going to bed clean, she'd explain, starting fresh for sleep. For 10 years, that never changed. Through dating, through our engagement, through a decade of marriage. Lauren would take her evening shower at 9:30, like clockwork. Until 6 weeks ago. It started on a Tuesday. I got home from work around 5:45, my usual time. Lauren's car was already in the driveway, which was normal. Teachers got home by 4:30 most days. But when I walked in, I heard the shower running. I checked my watch. 5:47 p.m. Lauren never showered this early. I went upstairs. The bathroom door was closed, steam seeping out from underneath. I could hear the water running, hear her moving around in there. I sat on our bed and waited. She came out 15 minutes later, wrapped in a towel, hair wet. She saw me and jumped slightly. "Oh, you're home. I didn't hear you come in. Just got here. You're showering early today." She walked to her closet, didn't quite meet my eyes. "Yeah, I had gym class duty today. Got sweaty supervising kickball. Felt gross and wanted to wash off right away." It made sense. Elementary school gym class duty would be active, sweaty work. "Want me to start dinner?" I asked. "That'd be great. I'll be down in a minute." She came downstairs in fresh clothes, hair still damp, and we made dinner together like we always did. Everything seemed normal. Except that night at 9:30, she didn't take her usual shower. She just brushed her teeth and got into bed. "No shower?" I asked. "I already showered when I got home. Remember?" "Right. Gym class duty." "Yeah." We went to sleep. I didn't think much about it. But then it happened again on Thursday. I came home at 5:45. The shower was running. Lauren emerged 20 minutes later, hair wet, wrapped in a towel. "Gym class duty again." I asked. "What?" "Oh no. I wanted to shower before dinner. Change things up. You never shower before dinner." She shrugged, heading to the closet. "I know, but I'm trying something new. Feels good to wash off the school day right when I get home." Okay. Again that night. No shower at 9:30. She just got into bed after brushing her teeth. The following week, it happened 3 more times. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Each time I'd come home, the shower would be running or just finished. Each time Lauren would emerge with wet hair and a vague explanation about wanting to feel fresh. And each time, she'd skip her usual evening shower. After 10 years of the exact same routine, she'd completely reversed it. Without explanation, without discussion, my quality control instincts kicked in. When a pattern changes, there's always a reason. I started paying closer attention. Lauren had been teaching at Oakwood Elementary for 8 years. She loved her job, loved her students, came home every day with stories about classroom antics and small victories. That hadn't changed, but other things had. She'd started dressing differently for work. More attention to her appearance. Outfits that were still professional, but more deliberate. She'd spend longer on her makeup in the mornings. She'd started wearing a perfume I didn't recognize. New perfume. I asked one morning. Oh yeah. One of the other teachers recommended it. "Do you like it?" "It's nice. Different." She smiled and kissed my cheek. Good different or bad different? Just different. Her phone habits had changed too. She'd always been pretty casual about her phone, would leave it on the counter, face up, never seemed concerned about privacy. Now she carried it with her everywhere. To the bathroom. To the kitchen when she got water. She'd set it face down on tables. She'd get text notifications and glance at them in a way that seemed careful, measured. Everything okay? I asked one evening when she checked her phone for the third time in 10 minutes. Yeah, fine. Just a teacher group chat. They're planning something for one of the other teachers' birthdays. Must be quite the party if it requires this much coordination. You know how it is. Lots of opinions. But she angled her phone away as she typed a response. The shower thing kept happening. 4 or 5 times a week, I'd come home to find Lauren already showered. Wet hair, fresh clothes, the bathroom still steamy. Always with an explanation. She did outdoor recess duty. She gotten chalk dust on herself. She wanted to feel fresh before dinner. She was trying this new routine. But the explanations never quite felt complete. Then I noticed something else. On the days Lauren showered right when she got home, she was different. More talkative, almost overly so. She'd ask lots of questions about my day, make elaborate dinners, be physically affectionate in a way that felt slightly performative. On the days she didn't shower immediately, the day she kept her old routine, she was quieter, more subdued. Normal Lauren. It was like she was 2 different people depending on whether she'd showered when she got home. 3 weeks into this new pattern, I came home early. I'd finished my quality reports ahead of schedule and left the plant at 4:30 instead of my usual 5:30. I pulled into our driveway at 4:47 p.m. Lauren's car was already there. The house was quiet when I walked in. Lauren, I called out. No answer. I went upstairs. The bathroom door was closed. I could hear the shower running. I checked my watch. 4:48 p.m. School got out at 3:30. Teachers usually left by 4 o'clock. She'd been home for maybe 15 minutes and had gone straight to the shower. I sat on our bed and waited. The water ran for a long time. 20 minutes. 25. Finally, it shut off. Lauren opened the bathroom door, towel wrapped around her, and froze when she saw me sitting there. Ethan, you're home early. Finished work ahead of schedule. Thought I'd surprise you. That's great. She moved quickly to her closet, grabbed clothes. Just let me get dressed, and we can start dinner early. Why are you showering at 4:45 in the afternoon? I told you. I like feeling fresh after work now. For 25 minutes, she pulled on clothes quickly, her back to me. I was washing my hair. It takes time. You wash your hair every day now. You used to do that every other day. I'm taking better care of myself. Is that a problem? No, it's just different. Different isn't bad, Ethan. She left the bedroom, went downstairs. I heard her start pulling things out for dinner. I sat there for a moment, looking at the bathroom. The mirror was completely fogged over. The air was thick with steam and that unfamiliar perfume. And something else. A scent I couldn't quite place. Masculine. Like cologne. I walked into the bathroom, looked around. Everything seemed normal. Lauren's shampoo, her body wash, her razor. But that scent was there. Faint but present. Men's cologne. I went downstairs. Lauren was chopping vegetables, her back to me. Did anyone visit today? Before I got home. She paused, just for a fraction of a second. What? No. What? Just wondering. Thought maybe one of your teacher friends stopped by. No. Just me. I came straight home after school. Okay. We made dinner in silence. The tension was palpable. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to Lauren, listening to her breathe, and my mind kept running through patterns. The immediate showers. The timing. Always on days I got home at my usual time, never on days I worked late. The elaborate explanations. The change in demeanor. The cologne scent in our bathroom. I didn't want to believe what my instincts were telling me. But I'd spent 15 years in quality control. I knew what it looked like when something was being covered up. The next day at work, I couldn't focus. I kept thinking about that cologne scent. About Lauren's behavior. About the pattern that had emerged. During my lunch break, I did something I never thought I'd do. I installed a home security app on my phone and ordered a small camera that connected to it. The kind marketed for checking on pets or packages. I told myself I was being paranoid. That there was a reasonable explanation for everything. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. The camera arrived 2 days later. It was small, discreet, designed to look like a regular wall charger. I installed it in our bedroom, angled toward the bathroom door. Just want to make sure the house is secure while we're both at work. I told Lauren that evening when she noticed the new charger. Since when are you worried about security? There'd been some break-ins in the neighborhood. Saw it on the community Facebook page. Better safe than sorry. She accepted the explanation without further question. The next day, I checked the camera feed around 4 p.m. from my office at the plant. Lauren's car will be home by now. The feed showed our empty bedroom. Peaceful. Quiet. At 4:23 p.m., Lauren walked into frame. She was already home. She went directly to the bathroom. I heard the shower start. I watched the timestamp. 4:23 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 4:40 p.m. At 4:52 p.m., the bathroom door opened. Lauren emerged in a towel. Alone. She got dressed, went downstairs. Nothing unusual. I felt guilty for even installing the camera. She was just showering, like she'd said. But then I thought about that cologne scent, and I decided to check one more thing. The camera had audio. I hadn't paid much attention to it, but it recorded sound within about a 15-foot radius. That evening, after Lauren went to bed, I sat in my car in our driveway and reviewed the audio from that afternoon. 4:23 p.m., the shower starts. Water running. Normal bathroom sounds. 4:31 p.m., the water's still running. But I hear something else. Faint, but there. A voice. Male. Talking low. I turn up the volume on my phone, press the speaker directly to my ear. The voice was clearer now. Think he suspects anything? Lauren's voice, also quiet. No. He hasn't said anything beyond asking about the shower routine. You need to be more careful. I know. But what am I supposed to do? Not shower after you leave? He'd smell your cologne on me. My heart stopped. The male voice continued. Maybe we should cool it for a while. This is getting risky. I don't want to cool it. Lauren's voice. These afternoons with you are the only thing keeping me sane. What if he comes home early again? He won't. He's always at the plant until 5:30. We have over an hour. The conversation continued, but I'd heard enough. My wife was bringing someone to our house. To our bedroom, apparently. In the afternoons while I was at work. Then showering immediately after to wash away the evidence. That's why she'd change her routine. She wasn't showering before dinner because she felt like it. She was showering because she had to. Because someone else had been in our shower. In our bedroom. With her. I sat in my car, listening to my wife's voice discuss her affair with the man she was cheating with. And something inside me went cold. Not angry. Not yet. Just cold. Analytical. I had evidence. I had her own words, recorded in our home. I had a pattern documented over weeks. Now I needed more information. The next day, I left work at 4:15 p.m. Didn't tell anyone I was leaving early. Just clocked out and drove home. I parked one street over and walked to my house. Approached from the back, through our yard. I could see into our bedroom window from the backyard. The curtains were partially open. At 4:32 p.m., I saw movement. Lauren walked into view. She wasn't alone. A man was with her. Tall, dark hair, probably mid-30s. I didn't recognize him. They were talking. Then they were kissing. Then they moved out of view, toward the bed. I stood in my own backyard, watching a stranger in my bedroom with my wife, and that cold feeling solidified into something harder. Certainty. I took photos with my phone, time-stamped, clear images through the window. Then I walked back to my car and drove to an attorney's office. His name was Philip Morris. He specialized in family law, came highly recommended from a guy at work who'd gone through a divorce. Philip, I need to file for divorce. My wife is having an affair in our home while I'm at work. How do you know? I showed him everything. The audio recording, the photos through the window, the pattern of behavior over 6 weeks. Philip listened to the recording, looked at the photos. This is pretty conclusive evidence. What are my options? South Carolina recognizes adultery as grounds for divorce. This evidence is strong. You have her own admission on tape. You have photographic evidence. You could pursue a fault-based divorce, which can affect property division and alimony. I want the house, and I don't want to pay her a dime. With this evidence, that's very achievable. How do you want to proceed? I want to file immediately. I want her served as publicly as possible, and I want to make sure she understands exactly what she's losing. Philip smiled slightly. I can work with that. We filed papers that afternoon. Philip arranged for Lauren to be served at Oakwood Elementary the next day during school hours. She'd get the papers delivered to her classroom in front of her colleagues and students. That evening, I went home at my normal time. 5:45 p.m. Lauren was in the kitchen, hair wet, making dinner. How was your day? She asked, smiling. Productive, I said. Got a lot accomplished. That's great, honey. We made dinner together. Ate while discussing mundane things. Her students, my quality reports, weekend plans we'd never actually make. She had no idea that in less than 18 hours, her entire world would collapse. The next day at 2:15 p.m., I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Mr. Holden? This is Principal Susan Ward from Oakwood Elementary. I'm calling about a situation with your wife. What kind of situation? She was served with some legal papers during class today. She became very upset and had to leave for the day. I wanted to reach out and make sure everything is all right. Everything's fine on my end, Principal Ward. Thank you for calling. The papers appeared to be divorce documents. The children were somewhat unsettled by Mrs. Holden's reaction. We had to have the assistant principal take over her class. I apologize for any disruption. That wasn't my intention. I understand these things happen. I just wanted to make you aware. She hung up. I felt a small twinge of guilt about the kids in Lauren's class witnessing her breakdown. But it passed quickly. She'd made her choices. This was the consequence. Lauren called my phone 17 times that afternoon. I didn't answer. She sent texts. We need to talk. Right now. You're filing for divorce. Without even discussing it with me? This is insane. Come home so we can talk about this like adults. Ethan, please. I can explain everything. I didn't respond to any of them. At 5:45 p.m., I went home like normal. Lauren's car was in the driveway. I could see her sitting on our front porch, waiting. She stood up when she saw me. Her eyes were red from crying. Ethan, I have nothing to say to you. You can't just file for divorce without talking to me first. Actually, I can. And I did. This is because of the showers? Because I changed my routine? You're divorcing me over that. I'm divorcing you because you've been bringing another man into our house, into our bedroom, while I'm at work, then showering immediately after to wash away the evidence. Her face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. I pulled out my phone, played the audio recording. Her voice, clear as day, talking to her affair partner in our bathroom. She listened, frozen. You recorded me? In my own house, which is legal in South Carolina. One-party consent state. I consented to recording my own home. You had no right. I had every right. You're having an affair. In our home. In our bed. While I'm at work. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. I have audio. I have photos. I have 6 weeks of documented pattern changes. I have everything I need. Tears started streaming down her face. Ethan, please. Can we talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Now you deal with the consequences. Who's the man, Lauren? She didn't answer. Who is he? Does it matter? I'd like to know who's been in my house. She wiped her eyes. His name is Jordan. He's a teacher at the middle school. We met at a district training session last year. How long? What? How long has this been going on? 2 months. And you thought showering immediately when you got home would keep me from finding out. I didn't plan for it to happen. It just did. Nothing just happens, Lauren. You made choices. Every single day, for 2 months, you chose to bring him here. Chose to betray our marriage. Chose to lie to me. I was going to tell you. When? After another month. Another year. She had no answer. I want you out of the house tonight, I said. Pack what you need. Everything else will divide through attorneys. You can't kick me out. This is my house too. Actually, the house is in my name only. I bought it before we got married. You moved in after the wedding. Legally, it's my house. Her eyes widened. You planned this. You've been planning this. I planned nothing. I just paid attention. When you changed your routine after 10 years, I noticed. When you started acting different, I noticed. When I smelled cologne in our bathroom, I noticed. You got sloppy, Lauren. And I'm trained to spot anomalies. Philip had advised me to have a witness present when asking her to leave. My brother Mike was parked down the street. I texted him to come over. He arrived 5 minutes later. Stood on the porch with me while Lauren went inside and packed. I'm sorry, man, Mike said quietly. Me too. Lauren came out 30 minutes later with 2 suitcases. She loaded them in her car without looking at either of us. Before she got in, she turned back. I hope you're happy. Destroying our marriage over a mistake. I'm not destroying anything. You already did that. I'm just cleaning up the mess. She drove away. I watched her taillights disappear, then went inside my house. It felt empty but peaceful. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. The divorce took 4 months to finalize. Lauren tried to fight it initially. Her attorney argued I'd violated her privacy by recording her without her knowledge. Philip shut that down with South Carolina's one-party consent law. She tried to claim the affair was over, and we should try counseling. Philip presented the timeline, showing it had continued right up until she was served papers. She tried to claim she deserved half the house. Philip showed documentation that I'd owned the house before marriage, and she'd never contributed to the mortgage. She tried to claim I'd ambushed her by serving her at school in front of her students and colleagues. Philip pointed out that she'd been having an affair in our marital home in the afternoons, which was far more egregious. We settled. Lauren got some personal property and her car. I kept the house, my retirement accounts, everything I'd built before and during the marriage. No alimony. The adultery evidence made that impossible. Clean break. I heard through mutual friends that Lauren and Jordan tried to make a relationship work after the divorce. It lasted about 6 weeks before falling apart. Turns out the excitement of an affair doesn't translate well to actual partnership. Lauren ended up moving to Columbia for a teaching position. Fresh start, away from the scandal at Oakwood Elementary, where everyone knew what happened. As for me, I stayed in Greenville. Kept my job at the plant. Kept my house. About 8 months after the divorce, I started dating again. Slowly, carefully. Then I met someone. Her name is Nicole. She's a physical therapist, straightforward and honest. No games. On our third date, I told her about Lauren. About the changed shower routine that unraveled everything. She showered right after coming home instead of before bed. Nicole asked. For 10 years, she had the same routine. Then suddenly changed it. That's what made me pay attention. And it turned out she was covering up an affair. Washing away evidence. Different cologne. Needed to be cleaned before I got home. Nicole shook her head. That's calculating. It was. Very. Are you worried I'll do the same thing? Should I be? She smiled. I'm a creature of habit. If my routine changes, it's because I told you it was going to change. Transparency is kind of my thing. We've been together for over a year now. She's exactly who she seems to be. No hidden patterns, no suspicious behavior changes, no red flags. And yes, she showers before bed. Every single night. Like clockwork. The consistency is comforting. I think about that day sometimes, when I first noticed Lauren showering at 5:45 p.m. instead of 9:30 p.m. How such a small change revealed everything. People think affairs are discovered through dramatic confrontations or accidental texts. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're discovered by someone who pays attention to patterns, who notices when routines change, who understands that small deviations often signal bigger problems. My wife changed her routine after 10 years. Started showering right after coming home instead of before bed. And that one change unraveled the lies she'd been building for 2 months. She thought she was being clever, washing away evidence, covering her tracks. But she forgot she was married to someone trained to spot anomalies. And in quality control, we have a saying, the cover-up is always more obvious than the crime. Lauren's new shower routine didn't hide her affair. It exposed it.